President Trump says US, Russian and Ukrainian officials will meet at a security conference in Munich today for talks on how to end the war in Ukraine. Now, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky will meet with US officials in Munich later for key talks on his country's future. President Donald Trump has already started talks with Vladimir Putin about Russia's war in Ukraine.
Ukrainians themselves are in a state of limbo. South of Zaporizhia, on the banks of a reservoir now drained after the destruction of a vital dam, our Ukraine correspondent James Waterhouse has been asking people what possible future they're imagining.
The sounds and scars of Russia's invasion. Reminders of war weigh heavy here. The destruction of a major dam drained this reservoir. A static front line has put life on hold. Alexander used to fish these waters. Now he waits for Donald Trump's vision for peace.
If it stays like this, as it is now, then nothing will work out. There will just be a border. Most likely, it will be impossible to live next to the Russians, unfortunately.
America's big plan is a body blow for Ukraine. It dared to dream that 3 years of sacrifice and Western support would make it safe from Russia. Now, it feels vulnerable and betrayed.
The loss of this water has reshaped Ukraine. It separates where we are from Russian-occupied territory, and any ceasefire would freeze this as a fault line. And what Ukraine wants is a guarantee that it would be able to stop Russia from crossing it in the future.
Villagers now rely on this well for fresh water, forced to adapt. Their president claims Russia can still be pressured, but at the moment it is Ukrainians like Anatoly who are feeling the heat.
I would like the war to be over, the world to help us, America and Europe, so that we could stay strong and have lasting peace.
With all the talk about talks, Ukrainians are still fighting and dying. Funerals are constant. Here, it is the turn of Natalia's husband, a local soldier called Alexander, to be laid to rest.
Honestly, I just don't know anymore. They keep sending more and more of our guys to the front line. I wish they found some way to end it.
Donald Trump says he wants the killing to stop. Ukrainians know the cost of Russia's invasion. Even when it ends, they will be paying the price for generations.
We can talk to James now, who joins us from Kyiv. James, you know, I found it really striking, actually, just when the gunshots went off and you can see people flinching, because this is what they're living with, isn't it, that constant fear. With that in mind, Ukraine saying that talks with Russians in Munich are not what expected, but I've got to ask, what do you think President Zelensky is going to get out of this conference?
He's got a tall order, hasn't he, Naga? He's going to head to this conference where he's meeting with Donald Trump's deputy, Vice President J.D. Vance, who has been very critical in the past about America's military help for Ukraine, help which has helped it fight against Russia. He's going to give a speech on Saturday. He will meet with British ministers to talk about not just help for Ukraine, but also Europe's new relationship with America and what America is going to look to contribute to global security in the future. This is high-stakes stuff. And, of course, Donald Trump has now suggested that there would be three-way talks between America, Russia and Ukraine. There's been no comment from the Kremlin, and Ukraine has said, as you say, they don't expect that to happen. So we had the itinerary released for Munich, and there is no mention of a three-way talk. So President Zelensky might have to be nimble on his feet if he does suddenly find himself in that situation, or would he even accept such a dynamic? It'll be interesting to see.
James, I mean, there is an element of pride here, and President Zelensky has made clear, you know, the conversation happened with Russia first. I mean, how quickly can that be pushed aside?
It's really difficult because I think the last 2 days have shown us, haven't they, that Donald Trump is prioritising Russia at the moment. He sees Russia as the main player in its invasion of Ukraine. He is not prioritising Volodymyr Zelensky in these conversations, and so what Ukraine is trying to do, and this is almost summarises the crisis, this campaign of aggression towards Ukraine. You have Russia framing it as a war with the West, and now you have the West, America, framing it directly with Russia, and in the middle you have a European country that has endured 11 years of war, 3 years of a full-scale invasion. It's been torn to shreds, and now it is even fighting to have its voice heard on how that war just might be ended. And of course, it's not about, you know, blowing a full-time whistle and fighting stops. There is a whole host of security measures or guarantees that Ukraine is looking to get. The question of recovery is a seismic task, and it's a job that's made all the more difficult as long as fighting carries on. It's been another night where missiles have been launched. It's been another night when 800-kilometre front line has seen heavy fighting. That is not easing in any way, and the path to that ceasefire is going to be very long and uncertain.